Just don't get no better than that, y'all. I'll give my all for Tennessee today. What's going on, y'all? You remember who this is. Just had to stop in, drop by, and say, I'm back. I'm back for football season for 2011. Here I am. Go ahead and count me in. Go ahead and put that little check next to set them up, because I'm back, baby, for 2011. Glad to be back, y'all. Hope everybody's doing good. Ready to get this season underway. We are less than 2 months away from football time in Tennessee, and I am stoked about it. I know all the rest of my fellow Vol fans feel that way as well. The Blue Tick Bullies, they feel that way as well. We're ready for football season to get here, and we're very, 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 very hopeful about this team we got coming back this year. But anyways, let's get into it, shall we? Of course, this will make my second season here in the Trash Talking Circle. I guess you can say last year was my rookie season. I don't claim to be the best video producer or the biggest badass here in the TTC, but I felt like I held my own here, guys, last year. I was here for every game, making videos every week for every team we played. When it's appropriate, I crow up. You see me on here doing that. And one thing I got to take credit for is when things looked like they wasn't going to get any, couldn't get any worse for Tennessee last year. Going into November, we were 2-6. Some people were saying this was the worst team in Tennessee history. Some people were saying we're going to lose to Kentucky. We might lose to Vanderbilt. Things like that. Anyways, I put up a video right at the start of November. It's still up here, just like all the rest of my videos from last season. In that video, I said Tennessee was going to win those last 4 games in November and go on to a bowl game, and that's exactly what happened. So, even though we went and got screwed in that bowl game, I think everybody knows that. I don't care what anybody says. But anyways, enough of that. 2011 is here. Just looking at this year's Tennessee team, I think we're going to be better on offense, much better on offense than compared to the last 8 games of the season last year when we had Matt Sims starting. And not to try to knock on Matt Sims, he was a tough competitor. I got to give him credit for that, for sticking in there and taking all those hits, behind this offensive line that was undersized at some positions and had no experience. At least he stuck in there and did that. But he's not an SEC starting quarterback. Tyler Bray, of course, I think you all know how I felt about this kid last season when he came through at the end of the year. And real excited about his next 2 or 3 years here on Rocky Top. At running back, of course, we got Torrin Poole, who I think is the most overlooked, underrated running back in the entire country. He had over 1,000 yards rushing last year against that, despite that aforementioned offensive line that I was just talking about. This is kind of amazing to think about because he had 6 games over 100 yards rushing. He had over 100 yards against Alabama. Was the first back to do that in quite a while. Compared to all these other backs in the SEC, and when there's a lot of good ones, I'll give them that. But nobody is paying any attention to Torrin Poole, and I think more people will be doing that once the season starts. And at wide receiver, we're going to miss, Demo, and we're going to miss Gerald Jones for their senior leadership they had last year and their steady play. Demo, of course, moved on to NFL this year. But I think that, we still got a young group of receivers that is just the sky's the limit for these guys. Justin Hunter, I think if not this year, but next year, he's going to be first team All SEC. I think he probably has a good shot at doing it this year because I think he's going to have his breakout year. He'll be at least second team, I'll go ahead and say. I think he's the next A.J. Green. Everything I see in Justin Hunter's game, number 11, I've seen in A.J. Green back at Georgia the last few years. I think he is the next A.J. Green here in the SEC. Hopefully everything that A.J. Green was on the field, but not selling his game jerseys on eBay, stuff like that. But anyways, on the defense, I think we got a better group. As I said, at least we're going to be deeper at some positions that was just killing us last year. defensive line. I think we'll have a pretty solid group at defensive line. Our secondary is going to be among the best of the SEC, maybe just as good as anybody's. I really like our secondary. The linebackers are going to be the question, probably the whole team. We got to replace some of those guys at linebackers that we lost last year. But I still think overall we'll be a better group, a tougher group on defense. And maybe the thing that really excites me the most about the entire team is that for the first time in since 2007, we returned virtually our entire coaching staff. And what a coincidence, last time we didn't have any turnover, we won the East. So how about that? So we'll see what happens this year. But while we're on the subject of the East, we'll just start trashing everybody and work our way around. That's why I'm here. I got everybody's attention. So, of course, you're not going to see me get on here and make these SEC East predictions, saying that Tennessee's going to win the East. I think we got just as good a shot as anybody this year. I still think we're a year away from having the team that I want to see. I think next year in 2012, look out, SEC. I think we're going to be in Atlanta, and we'll see what happens then. But I still think this year we got just as good a shot. But it's so wide open in the East. I think anybody can come out alive. The winner of the East is probably going to have 2 or 3 losses. Just looking at things. Again. So I think if you do 6-2 in the SEC East, you're going to win for sure. If you ask me. But anyways, let's let the trashing begin, shall we? Who should we start with? Of course, can't start with nobody else but the Dog Pound. What's going on, guys, down there at UGA? Oh, wow. Dog Pound. Boy, you guys sure had a turd of a season last year, huh? All these predictions y'all made, all these outlandish predictions, winning the East, yada, yada, yada. We're going to win the East. We might be 2-7 or 2-6 or whatever y'all were. 2-5. Still making these SEC East predictions, after you're losing to Colorado or crying in your beard. Looking at paper, Georgia, I got to say, you guys look like you have a pretty tough team. On paper, you probably have the best team in the East. But games ain't played in paper. I think Colorado and Central Florida proved that last year. But anyways, you didn't see Tennessee losing teams like Colorado last year. Of all the teams we played last year, the only team to have a losing record was Georgia. And let me remind you, Dog fans, the last 2 times when you came to Knoxville, what happened? That's right, spanking. So I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll move along to Florida. Of course, Florida, y'all breaking in a new coach. You lost Tebow the season before. You come in this season losing Meyer. And what could be next? Could be the entire football program as we know it. Could be back to Zuckerball, boys. That's all I got to say. Moving along to that. One more thing, Florida fans. That's right. This September, we're coming to the swamp. And guess what's going to happen? That streak that y'all talk about all the time, it's over. It's over this year. We're breaking that streak. Going down your own backyard this year, Florida. We'll see what happens. I can't wait. Can't wait for that game. That's maybe the one I'm looking forward to the most because I'm ready for that streak to end. And there's no reason to trash Kentucky or Vanderbilt. They suck. They don't have any chance. All that's really left is South Carolina. And you guys turned a few eyebrows last year. You beat Alabama. You won the East. Of course, after you beat Alabama, you went on the road and lost to Kentucky. That's a joke in itself, losing Kentucky. Wow. Oh, my goodness. South Carolina, I know you guys are all proud of your SEC East championship. But, guys, it ain't going to happen again for a long time. Maybe ever. I'll just go ahead and tell you now. Georgia's a football team. Florida's a football team. Of course, Tennessee is a football team. But you know, South Carolina just don't have any room left. Just too many traditional powers loading the SEC East for you guys to be consistent competitors. And you know, Lattimore's good, but we all seen what that little tiny little cornerback from Florida State made him look like last year. But South Carolina, you guys got a hell of a baseball program. You know, I'm very envious of that. I think this new guy we got brought in from Cal State Fullerton is going to bring Tennessee back to Omaha someday, like we have been 4 times before. But envious of you guys' baseball program, but stick to baseball, guys, because that's about all you guys can have. I'm sorry. But that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there. It's great to be back. I'm looking forward to this season. I can't wait for football time in Tennessee. So, as a sign off, can I get a go Vols one time? Stop, damn it. There it goes. See y'all later.